Can you introduce yourself?
Uh, Sir, my name is Dethe Sagar. I am from Jalgaon district of Maharashtra. I am from a farming background. I completed my schooling in a Marathi medium. Up to 10th from the local village school, and after that I passed the 12th from the taluka level junior college. Then I shifted to Pune to do my Bachelor of Science graduation in Zoology from Ferguson College, Pune in 2019. This was my third attempt at UPSC and first interview.
So why you want to be a part of administration?
Sir, hailing from the rural background, I personally witnessed 2-3 situations where close contact with the administration. I personally found that they were having that power and authority, and that a skill required to have a major impact that I always wanted to contribute from my side. So seeing this service as a resource or a tool to achieve that idea from my side, I want to join this service or part of administration.
Which authority?
Sir, stating particularly, he had charismatic authority.
Was it a charismatic personality?
Yes, sir. He had that aura and that influence on the people that used to follow him, and the ideas or thoughts.
So anyone leader who is followed by the people is a charismatic.
Sir, that may not be an universal case, but in case of Mahatma Gandhi, that was the case.
So how is Narendra Modi? Is he also charismatic?
Sir, I don't think that the aura or that power that Mahatma Gandhi used to carry can be replicated with the Honorable PM right now.
Why? He is an extremely popular leader.
Sir, Mahatma Gandhiji, in those times and in those circumstances, we were under colonial rule. We were fighting to struggle to search for our self identity, and there were also that authoritarian rule on our side. Mahatma Gandhiji gave that platform for people to interact with the authorities and to shed away the fear that the people having about this colonial rule. For example, the Gandhi Irving Pact was remarkable event in Indian history. That may not be the case today, as we are a democratic country, and the Honorable PM is just the highest public servant today.
Okay. Yes. Public servant is a government servant or a public servant? What is the correct terminology?
Sir, actually government is an agency, but in a democracy country like ours, the public are ultimate sovereign. So he is a public servant.
We should stop calling government servant?
Sir, he is the head of government. Actually, he is part of the government. But having the broader term, the public servant encompasses its role as a head of the government.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a difference between public servant and government servant?
Public servant, sir, can I take a moment, please? Sir, I think both the terms are having this Venn diagram type relationship where public servant encompasses this idea of government servant. So every public servant is a government servant, but every government servant cannot be a public servant.
Achha, every government servant is not a public servant?
Yes, sir.
Or the government servant get a salary and public servant do not get a salary?
Sir, I am not aware of the salary issue. About the salary aspect.
So why is it power? Why power is required?
Sir, power is a medium to influence or exert our ideas or our viewpoints, which can be relatively better in some position to influence on the other section of the society.
Influence equal power? Even love can do it.
Yes, but power has that broader impact or some authoritarian tint in it than the love. In fact, it has some utility to carry on some of our ideas with the help of the that front side people. So power can be used in an utilitarian role, in my opinion.
Okay. And then Baba Amte, for example, how much power he had?
Sir, he had self-power.
Self-power.
That power emerged from his strong mind and strong values that he
You
carried.
also had it.
Yes, sir, of course
Why
I
you
have.
separately other power than that?
Sir, power has two connotation, internal and external. I do have some external power in myself. I am surely confident about that. But having this societal setup and this administrative that we are part of, and the democratic polity that we have in our country, the external power is also equally responsible and equally important than to add this combination of self power and external power to have the better influence and execution of our ideas or thoughts.
Okay.
What are your hobbies?
Ma'am, I have particularly 3 hobbies.
Okay.
The first one is solving riddles, second one is imitative singing, and third one is engaging in household farming activities, as I am from farming background.
Imitative singing.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it?
Actually, it's a kind of hobby when I try to listen particular singer and try just to mimic his lyrics in my own style without some basic rules of classical singing and all that. I do it particularly in my own way just to get some idea about the mindset of the singer while he may be singing this song, the modulation in his voice, the mental scene that may be emerging in his mind at the time of that singing. So it's kind of de-stressing activity that I usually engaged into.
What type of music do you love to hear?
Ma'am, particularly Bollywood music and some Sufi qawwalids that I particularly listen to.
Shall we promote mechanization of agriculture?
Yes, sir, we should promote it.
Then we should promote commercial farming.
Mechanization is just one aspect of the commercial farming. Commercial farming involves other aspects like market reforms, producing infrastructure facilities, having good platform of the farmer and market trader
Volumes are the
community.
main part of any such type of like commercial farming, and volumes and mechanization go hand in hand. What do you think?
Pardon, sir.
Volumes
Okay.
play the important role, and volumes and mechanization go hand in hand. Don't you think?
You mean to say volume equal to
Volume
quantity of
production.
quantity of production?
Quantity
Right?
of production.
Yes, sir, they do. But in case of Indian scenario, where around 80% farmers are small and marginal, having average land holding below 1.5 hectares of land, the mechanization, as you particularly said, that volume, the overall production remains in decimal quantities. The mechanization can be favored only if there is a strong farmer producer organization, that strong land consolidation, then this thing can be more
Do
effective.
they bring the land together?
No, sir, they don't bring land together, but they bring the produce together. That increases the bargaining power of the farmers itself.
How it is to do with the mechanization of farming?
Sir, mechanization as such won't be that much favorable for a small and marginal farmer.
Shall we promote the household farming in India or not?
Sir, it's already prevalent in Indian scenario.
We should
Household
promote it or
product.
not?
Yes, sir, we should promote it. It is.
Get a further 80%, 90% now we should make the small farmers. Simply 80% now make it 90%.
Sir, household farming is been entrenched in our culture from many of the last centuries. Even if you see the basic activity like tilling with this wooden floor with the help of bullock carts and all these things that are traditional to the rural community, they have these things linked to their society and cultural aspects too. So detaching themselves in one shot, like the I'm not particular about, but the communist ideologies in Russia and China did this large scale mechanization without giving due attention to this small thing that are this household farming things. So if you do that in India, then
Okay, so that the extreme thing. But shall we promote the household farming, or we should demote it?
sir, promoting it along with the advanced technologies and like you mentioned,
Household level,
mechanization.
you can't afford technology actually.
Yes, sir, that is an issue. I accept that. But if you do it in a gradual and stepwise manner, having this good feedback mechanism and proper assessment system from community participation and state's active role, then that may be a sustainable. That may lead to sustainable.
You are coming out of farming and saying that farming will remain sustainable. Are you coming out of farming?
Yes, sir. I am.
Why are you coming out of farming?
Sir, my plan B is going to the farm itself.
Farm itself?
Yes, sir.
Very interesting.
Yes, sir.
How much land you had?
I have 8 acres of land. My father owns.
Is it irrigated land?
Sir, 5 acres of it is irrigated, while 3 is unirrigated.
Okay. And how much is the income father get from agriculture?
Sir, annual income of both the seasons, including Kharif and Rabi, goes around. It differs year by year, but it is in brackets of 4 lakh to 5.5 lakhs a year.
Is it income or revenue?
Sir, it's an income.
After minusing all the cost.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It goes around this rough figure of 5 lakh a year.
Okay.
Yes.
Put on that. Okay.
Do you have any plan for different type of farming?
Ma'am, like
Your plan B is farming.
yes, ma'am. Yes.
So you must have some imagination
Blueprint you want
related
to
to
see?
it.
Yeah, blueprint, some broad framework.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I do have it. Particularly, we cultivate cotton as a largest share of crop. In fact, around 90% of the farmland in our village is under cultivation of cotton. But the particular and the most grave issue in our area is not the availability of that produce processing units or cotton ginning, if you particularly say it. Cotton ginning and pressing machineries or that plants are the one plant from our village is around 50 kilometers away. So, in my opinion, having this plant in our area or in our locality will not only help the farmers to reduce this transportation and storage costs, but also will be helpful having this animal feed that we do derive from that cotton seeds and the oil industry. That also can be promoted in this aspect. So, along with the farming activities, I am interested in this agri-entrepreneurship model of cotton ginning and pressing plant. In fact, I am also studying about it and getting the knowledge about it from internet and various available sources.
Okay. How can you do it when you are saying that your father's income is nearly 4 lakhs? So the ginning machine and all that technology, it will cost much.
Stating particularly the cost, it goes around. If we start with a small plant, the Gujarat is leading state in this regard. So I got information that around 15 to 20 lakhs may be the small initial amount that we have to invest. There have been some government schemes in this regard, like the Mudra Yojana, where they give this initial loan, and gradually if we give them the desired result in their view, then the loan amount can be also taken in much more account.
Do you know any loan scheme related to agriculture, these machineries?
Can I second to recall, ma'am?
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am, I am not able to recall. But Mudra Yojana is there.
How much highest loan you get?
Sir, I am not aware of the exact loan amount. But,
Okay.
in my case, it's max up to 10 lakh
Correct.
in one time.
And then 20 lakh you are saying is the budget of a
Sir, the rest of the amount can be augmented from the savings from my father, and also I will not directly enter into that.
Why Mudra? You can go for a direct loan. No, why Mudra only? Direct loan you can get much more.
Yes, sir, but the collateral that we have to give to the banks and then
You can put the ginning press as a collateral. No?
sir, I am not that much about of this.
You're not seriously talking about putting a plant and not thought about anything about it.
Sir, firstly I will gain some experience as I am not involved in the whole agri cycle of a year due to being away from the home since last 7 to 8 years. I will particularly see the seasonal aspect, the variety for the farm produce, and also our issues and our nearby field and farmer issues in the villages.
Shall we allow the non-farmers to do farming?
Yes, sir, we can.
We don't allow, you know. In India it's a rule that non-farmer cannot buy the farmland.
Yes, sir, there is the rule. There is this.
Abolish it.
But the rule is, I think, mainly to curb this diversion of agri land to other real estate
No, somebody wants to do
capacities.
the agriculture proper. So it's not allowed.
Sir, honestly, I am not about the rule, and in my opinion, anything which promotes sustainable and any activity which increases the farm input, because it will only add to the economy of the country. Any of this activity should be promoted and not abolished.
Okay.
Have you heard of smart scheme related to agriculture?
No, ma'am, sir, I am not particularly about it.
Okay. What is farmer producer company?
Farm producer companies are they are this organization of the farmers who produce a particular crop, and
How many farmers they require to form a company?
the minimum amount I am not able to recall.
Okay.
What is the electricity amendment bill recently came, you know?
Yes, sir, I am aware of that. The rule was brought in 2021. There have been these issues of aggravated gross revenue related to transcodes, and the discom companies where this production, there was this mismatch between the production units and distribution units. So due to rectification, to rectify the anomalies between the and inherent in that system, the bill was brought out.
So what will happen with the bill?
Sir, provision repeat.
So what exactly will the change happen?
Sir, the AGR is a grave issue related to discoms, and there have been also in related to farming aspect, this separate feeder line is not there. There is this integrated line for household use as well as farm use, while the farm machinery is more more.
So states are opposing it?
Sir, I am not particular about our state's apprehension, but
Electricity is subject. State
subject, sir.
And then? Right, you know, so states will say that why you are entering our, can state government talk about Kashmir issue?
Yes, sir, that can be a concern, and also the production units that I already talked about, the coal and this raw machinery, raw material which central government is having particularly hold on, and its transportation and processing has some issues in that regard. So states may having this. Production is in dismal quantity, like you observed last summer there was a shortage of coal. That coal supply wasn't that much in an uninterrupted manner. So that is
The Narmada man, have you heard?
yes, sir. Narmada man was a man from post Neolithic era. The date goes back around 7,000 years ago. It was discovered by V.N. Mishra in Hathnora site near the Hoshangabad city of Madhya Pradesh.
What is the feature of him? How is unique? What is uniqueness of it?
Sir, a lower jaw was found of that man. The fossil has it is only fossil which has its global relevance with regard to India. It places itself in the category of Homo neanderthals. That in short we can refer to Narmada man as Indian Homo Neanderthal man.
But how only one man is found and other is not there?
Sir, there are also others, but if I am able to recall, there is Shivapithecus and Ramapithecus, but they goes back to the around 60,000 years back, and have its close links with Dravipithecus, which is already a debatable issue that whether it is part of human genealogy or not. But Homo neanderthal already it has a link with this common. It has its prominent place in human genealogy, and linking the Narmada man with Homo neanderthal man puts India on the global archaeological map.
Okay, so 7,000 BC, so early he was like that. This is so near a period like that. Isn't it belong to early period like that?
Yes, sir. As I mentioned, with the problem with the Narmada man, Shivapithecus man and Ramapithecus man, actually some scientists use both the terms interchangeably, while some argue that they both were different species belonging to different categories, and its relationship, like the relation between Narmada man and Homo neanderthal, has been clearly established by Indian archaeological and global archaeologists. The same is not the case with Ramapithecus and Dravipithecus. So the ancient genealogy hasn't been properly explored like we did with Narmada man. And also, sir, being a newer fossil than Ramapithecus, the features that are clearly observed in that lower skull of Narmada man are enough to link him itself with the Homo neanderthal man that has its prominence in eastern parts of the
They found some linkage about his Aryans and Indus. So do you know what is the discussion?
Sir, I am aware about the Indus Valley link of Rakhigarhi.
What is that?
The site is in Haryana. The major finding was beads and bangles that were observed, and also some
DNA finding that. So that's considered anthropology.
Yes, sir. DNA. Yes, sir. I have heard about it. Sir, I would like to take some moments to recall about it. Yes, sir. The findings were particularly came into limelight in 2019. The research asserts that the DNA linkage that that fossil material provide, the date is already established. It has its links with the Indus Valley civilization. The research mainly talks about the demographic linkage of that society with today's Indian society. So the debate is actually goes back to this broad topic of Aryan invasion. And
does it prove anything about Aryan invasion? Was the Aryans outsiders or part of individual India?
Sir, an official recognition from government side hasn't been clear yet.
But unofficially it is proved.
Sir, different historians and different archaeologists have their own claims.
What is your opinion on this all?
Sir, I am not in that capacity to have my opinion with this limited knowledge.
One can have the understanding what's followed.
Personal, if you give me that freedom to give my personal opinion. Sir, Aryans were particularly came in swarms from the central part from foothills of Siberia, dating back around 1200 to 1300 BC, while the Indus Valley civilization was already in dire situation or was going to extinct in that period. So we can't assert that there was some clash or some like that. In my personal opinion, the Aryans only replaced the Indus Valley civilization. They were outsiders and they don't have any clash with the native civilization that was flourishing in northwestern part of Indian subcontinent in that period.
Have you heard of the book called Sapiens?
Yes, ma'am, I have read about it.
Okay.
Read it.
Who is the writer?
The author is Professor Yuval Noah Harari. He is from Israel.
So in that book, he stated that agricultural revolution
Yes, ma'am.
is the basis of patriarchy all over the world. So what may be the reason he stated like that?
Okay. Professor Yuval Noah Harari mainly links the agricultural revolution as first revolution in the history of mankind. Linking it particularly with this patriarchal notion, he asserts that while choosing the land or this land conflicts and role allocation, doing a division of labor and farming activities and the allocation of these things was majorly done by the man, because he has this much physical power to assert himself, to assert his authority on self group as well as other groups. So having got that prominence, he was in a position to state that this occupation or start of this occupation led to the patriarchy. But in my personal opinion, that may not be the only factor. There have been some societal issues also.
Do you think that in farming the major role is played by man?
Ma'am, there are two sides here. If you go by the data, then actually 80% of India's women, or the agri laborer, if we consider, then actually 80% are women. In fact, we are facing this issue of feminization of agriculture. But if we see the ground reality, then of course men are holding the positions. Like I said earlier, they allocate the. In fact, in our farm, my father personally allocate the work that we have to do whole day, like some work to me, some work to my mother. So this authority and this authority continues itself, but while the official data states some other side.
What do you think the future of marriage system all over the world is going to be?
Ma'am, the marriage system was mainly came into place to have this relation with exogamous groups in order to bring social cohesion during the time of conflicts that was mainly prevalent in the early part of human evolution. The future was, we can only take this idea that some newer forms like live-in relationships or
what is the main problem? Why the marriage system you see so many breakages?
And we can list out some reasons for it. First one is this massive information flow that led to the awareness and information about the aspects which were not early relevant or revealed to both partners, male as well as female. The second aspect is increased consumerism, increased what you can say self-centric lifestyle or egocentric lifestyle, which mainly asserted that we particularly that male or female is a part of society that have its own abilities to assert his role or his place in the society without companion of any other. So that may also be linked to the late marriages or the sisterhood or bachelorhood that we see in the society today. The third aspect we can talk about is it can be linked with the second one, that rise in consumerism gave this influence of economical aspect being strong for marriages to be performed. Like we see in the rural villages, it's getting hard if you don't have that these resources from at one side or other. So these three factors are influencing marriage in the recent times.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.